Hey everyone, it's Kong again with another episode of Should You Summon? As always, I'll be presenting high-level overviews using these 4 criteria to help you decide whether this banner is worth your hard-earned vouchers and crystals. This week we've got a raid-up banner featuring Yulia and Hilda, running from August 5th to the 18th. Since it's not a Destiny banner, you have a 40% chance of getting each on-banner character, with the remaining unlucky 20% reserved for any other off-banner hero in the regular summoning pool. Feels like we were just talking about Yulia. Anyway, here she is again. She's a strong general-purpose magical DPS. If her hit point percentage is high enough, her talent gives her boosted damage, up to 3 self-revives, and self-healing after combat. Her 3-cost skill is a ranged attack, kind of like Discipline, with some features poached from her other skills. It dispels her own debuffs, heals her up, strips some buffs from the enemy, and speeds up the cooldown if you get a kill. She's a member of Legion of Glory, buffed by Ledin, Elwyn, and Grenier, Princess Alliance, buffed by Luna, Shelfaniel, and Christiane, and Mythical Realm, buffed by Gizaroth and the Sage of the Trees. She doesn't unlock anyone else's bonds. For her own bonds, she needs Jessica for her defensive bond and Zerida for her attack bond. For content, she's on faction for Scylla in the Eternal Temple, and she's still a staple in top-scoring Needhog parties as a self-healing slime buster. She seems to have been largely replaced for Fenrir though. Patsir and Kyura are running rampant on the leaderboards for that fight. She's still hanging in there as a PvP threat as well, since she can lock down and strip tanks and has healthy sustain, but if Global follows the Chinese server trend of running fewer and fewer tanks and more long leg DPS units, then Yulia is going to find herself fairly limited there. For availability, she should be coming back in December on her usual recurring Destiny banner with Landius and Jugler. Next up, we have Hilda, who is a top meta tank. She has a pretty complete tanking kit, with a once per battle revive, passive 25% damage reduction as long as she's buffed. She converts a portion of her attack to her defense and magic defense. She denies a critical attack against an ally within 3 blocks on a cooldown. She's immune to mobility down, and has an aura that reduces fixed damage by 35% for allies within 2 to 3 blocks, and also prevents them from being displaced. And her 3-cost skill lets her choose whether she wants to be a Lancer or Cavalry for the next 3 turns. And she has a 1-cost passive that lets her counterattack physical ranged attacks. She's a member of Langrisser Reincarnation, buffed by Ares and Hilda, Empire's Honor, buffed by Bernhardt, Leon, Lance, and Rosenseal, and Strategic Masters, buffed by Altemuller and Lanford. So yeah, on top of all that, she also has the 2nd faction buff for Langrisser Reincarnation. Hers increases single target skill damage and counterattack damage by 12% each. For bonds, believe it or not, as a faction buffing tank, she still doesn't actually unlock bonds for any other characters, yet. For her own bonds, she needs Werner for her important defensive bond and Florentia for her attack bond. For content, in PvE, she's on faction for Phoenix and Valkyrie in the Eternal Temple, and she's one of the main meta tanking options versus Sleipnir in Ancient Beckoning. There are a few different tanks you can use for that fight. Hilda's one of the good ones. She's also just a tank with a faction buff, so like Landius for Yellis Legends or Ledin for Legion of Glory, if you're a newer player and you get her early in your career, then you'll be able to build a solid team around her that should take you through the whole game with ease. PvP is of course where she truly shines. As a tank with a fully stocked kit, she'll have a place in most boxes for a long time. Her faction buff is really just icing on the cake, since it means you'll be able to include some more Langrisser Reincarnation overlap in your box and know that you'll probably be able to get a buff for them. Preventing allies from being displaced is going to come in handy against annoying late-game threats like the Sage of the Trees and Himiko, and with Thorns and Crystal Molders, she'll even make long-range turret mages like the Light of Genesis think twice about attacking her. For availability, sadly Hilda isn't appearing on the upcoming banner schedule, which means she won't be headlining a new banner until late December at the absolute earliest. given the fact that she's only appeared on a couple of rate-up banners so far. It's fair to assume that she may get a Destiny appearance eventually, maybe sometime in early 2022, so if you're still missing her, this is probably your best chance to get her for a while. Alright, here's the quick and dirty. We have Yulia, who's a strong magical DPS and tank disabler. She has self-revives and incidental healing, and she's one of the best slime tanks versus Needhog. We also have Hilda, who's a full package meta tank. She carries a faction buff for Langrisser reincarnation, and she's one of the best tanking options versus Sleipnir. Okay, time for the notes for noobs. If you're a newer player with a newer account, or you just don't mind a verdict-style final word to help you digest all this information, should you summon? Hilda is one of the best tanks in the game. She's virtually a must-have for PvP, unless you're literally playing with no tanks, and she's a valuable contributor for PvE as well, so summon for her. Yulia is also a great unit, but rate-up banners are dangerous. If you already have Hilda, whether you try to summon for Yulia here depends on your status on her recurring Destiny banner. She's 40% here. If you already have either Landius or Jugler, then that means she'll be 50% for you over there. If you're missing all three of them, she'll only be 33%, but you'll also knock someone off a Destiny banner for next time. Sticking to Destiny banners where possible is usually a safer approach, in the long run. And finally, my usual reminder about upcoming banners. Next week, we should be getting a new Langrisser Reincarnation Destiny banner with Ares, Nomi, and Maya. The week after that, some more Destiny banners featuring Ledin, Rachel, and newly SP-capable Ultimuller, and Listel, Omega, and Renata. The next major update will feature Lucretia and Emperor Autocrato IV, and Lucretia is even more powerful and versatile than Kyura, if you can believe that. This is one of the biggest 1-2 punches to the Trinity voucher supply in recent memory, 1-2-3 punches if you're including this Hilda Yulia banner, so be prepared for that. Alright, that's it for this episode, so hopefully you found these summaries helpful enough to be worth a little thumbs up. And let me know in the comments if you're planning on summoning here and what kind of luck you had. I fortunately got Hilda at launch and I built her up right away, so I'm still saving up whatever's left from my Kyura session in anticipation of the next beastly mage. As always, thank you so much for watching, best of luck to you all, and I'll catch you in the next Should You Summon. Extra special thanks, of course, to our Langrisser tier channel members Levitt, Derek Gunderson, Kyle Greer-Brown, William Householder, and Kate Soon, as well as all of our gold tier members, of course, for your generous support. Thank you so much.